What is guilt tripping? Guilt tripping is a form of emotional manipulation where someone makes another person feel guilty to influence their behavior or decisions. It often involves implying that the person being guilt tripped has done something wrong, failed in their duties, or neglected someone, even if this is not actually the case. The goal is to control the other person by exploiting their sense of guilt and responsibility. Key characteristics of guilt tripping. 1. Emotional manipulation. Guilt tripping relies on manipulating someone's emotions, particularly their sense of guilt, to achieve a desired outcome. 2. Indirect communication. Instead of directly stating their needs or feelings, the guilt tripper uses indirect comments, body language, or passive-aggressive behavior to convey their message. 3. Creating a sense of obligation. The person being guilt-tripped is made to feel obligated to comply with the guilt tripper's wishes to alleviate their own feelings of guilt. 4. Focus on past actions. Guilt trippers often bring up past actions or events to remind the other person of their perceived failures or shortcomings. Common phrases and behaviors in guilt tripping. After all I've done for you, I thought you cared about me, but I guess I was wrong. If you really love me, you would. Silent treatment or sulking until the other person feels guilty and apologizes or complies. Psychological mechanisms behind guilt tripping. Guilt tripping taps into several psychological mechanisms. Guilt, a powerful emotion that arises when someone feels they have violated their own moral standards or let someone down. Empathy. The guilt tripper exploits the empathy of the other person, knowing they don't want to cause pain or disappointment. Fear of conflict. Many people comply with guilt tripping to avoid conflict or further emotional distress. Impact of guilt tripping. Short-term effects. Compliance. The immediate goal of guilt tripping is usually achieved, as the person being guilt tripped may give in to avoid feeling guilty. Emotional distress. The target of guilt tripping often experiences negative emotions, such as sadness, frustration, or resentment. Long-term effects. Relationship strain. Over time, the repeated use of guilt tripping can damage trust and respect in relationships. Mental health issues. Chronic exposure to guilt tripping can contribute to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. Reduced autonomy. The person being guilt-tripped may struggle with making independent decisions, fearing they will always disappoint others. Recognizing guilt tripping. To recognize guilt tripping, consider these signs. Feeling undue guilt. You frequently feel guilty without clear reasons or for things that seem minor. Behavior changes. You notice you often change your behavior to avoid feeling guilty or to appease someone else. Indirect requests. The other person seldom makes direct requests and instead uses guilt to get what they want. Conclusion. Understanding guilt tripping is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships and protecting your mental well-being. By recognizing the signs and psychological mechanisms behind guilt tripping, you can develop strategies to respond effectively and foster healthier communication patterns.